Hey YouTube, EC831, it's Johnny, doing a semi-rushed installment, for this episode 4. I'm hoping to have 5 episodes for the project, and I think about enough, but anyway, it's been a bit of a stressful few weeks, as you may have heard from the different videos and blog posts that I put up and then putting up. I've had some crazy life things, like an infestation in my apartment, and I had to move, and I didn't realize how far back it set me. And I totally own up. I thought we had longer for this class. I thought we went to like closer to the end of term with exams and things, but no, we finished in a week. In just less than a week, actually. So it's been a bit stressful. But I'm loving the work, and I'm loving what we're doing. Last week I talked a lot about, thought a lot about how we perform ourselves and how much we reveal of ourselves. It's been a really rough time. And I can see how, from my first video to this one, like how that's changed. Within my community, art community, and theater and performing arts, and specifically spoken word, there's a lot of artists who are also activists. Community engaged art is a big part of my craft, and part of my research for this class and why I'm interested in it and this project was looking at how we tell stories and how we transform our stories. And for a lot of my peers and myself, and especially a lot of my black identified friends, or identifiably black friends, the news about Mike Brown in Fergus, Missouri, and then the more and more people talking about all the issues that are coming up, and to a lot of my female friends, female identified friends who have suffered and experienced sexual violence, with all the news about John Ghomeshi. It has been a very challenging week to be an ally, because sometimes our job is to simply listen, and sometimes it's really hard to not make it about you, and to not feel guilty about your maleness if you are a male ally. That's what I've been having a hard time with. And also just taking that on, it's really tough. Spoken word as a craft, as a practice, comes from a history of telling stories, of being like oral historians, archivists. And I think that making these videos is partially why I was really drawn to them, and also drawn to the cooking part of it. Because there is, and why I was so focused on creating and having people be there while I'm cooking, or have people there while I'm eating, and recording and showing that, and also being very candid about it. I really wanted to have a sense of communal sharing, and how much we don't realize that we perform ourselves all the time, and how much we actually tell about ourselves, the way we behave and act. Which leads me to this video. This is the art part of episode 4. And normally I've been around dinner with friends doing it, and I thought back, how important is it for me to have live audience in the space? This one is the most rushed of all my videos, but it's also the easiest, actually. So I really hope you try the recipe for the pork chops. They're fantastic. They were really well received across the board by many of my friends who were able to have some. But I felt important to share this piece of work today, the one I have. I wrote this just a few weeks ago, and after the shooting in Ottawa, I was left in a very anxious state, because I felt that it would just be another platform for people to share their fear, and not only share it, but teach a prejudiced, ignorant, racist fear to their children and to other people, and that's what happened for a lot of people. I ended up just writing and writing, and I've never been in a place where I wrote 4 poems before at once. I'm usually a 1 poem kind of guy, and or 1 script kind of guy. Anyway, I just didn't know what to do, so I just was writing, when I probably should have been writing blogs about the class, but when you're an artist, sometimes art hits you. And so I just, in a fit of just feeling helpless, I put them all together. I didn't perform it until this actual week. This week, as when the first time I voiced it out loud, and it was really well received. So this poem is very literally titled 4 in 1. Yeah. So before I get into it, I guess I'll do a quick recap of what I wanted to say today. It was that this course has been amazing for me to hear and see. I'm saddened that I wasn't more involved with a few more dialogues, but that'll hopefully happen over the next week, and we can connect a bit more. But thanks for all the feedback from everyone that's been given. Thank you for trying the recipes and liking things and watching the videos. That's awesome. But for me, I think what was most interesting is the literal parallels between sharing and creating work and cooking and sharing space to create together. What I was saying earlier was that spoken word comes from a history of speaking and oral histories. And what it really is that in the recent decades, it is a space where people who are marginalized, who don't get to speak, come together, form an agreement that we're going to create this space here and share. And not only are we going to share, but we're going to listen as well. I think that's super important. Yeah. And there's a gratitude, a gratefulness that comes, a thanksgiving. And I think that that happens every meal we share. This thanksgiving of the food we take, and how much our identity is wrapped up in food. In the food, I'm cooking predominantly Asian food, except for dessert. But though I love Asian dessert too, I just don't make it very often. Maybe another video. Anyway, it is important for me to recognize how much of my histories, my memories, are full in the food that I make, and the stories that come from that, I think, is very powerful. So it's almost like a safe trigger to go there. In other blog posts you'll see, and I'm going to talk about some of my peers sharing their stories of the memories that came to them and how effective that was. So yeah. Anyway, without further ado, this is the poem 4 in 1. Sometimes we'll say trigger warning, and what that usually means is that this has intense, mature content. It talks about racial issues. This specific piece talks about racial issues, and violence, and misogyny, and gender inequality. So it can be triggering for people, and so if it is, please comment or message me privately. We can talk, or email me, and we can talk about it, because I don't want to leave people in a state of either trauma or feeling unsafe or feeling attacked. That's not the case, and that's not what my art is for. And that's something else I'll talk about too in either my live talking about where I learned this term, or talking about distribution and what happens when you share art and leave it out there. It's like when you make food, like, hope you like it, and don't die from some allergies or something, anyway, or food poisoning. Anyway, awkward. Okay, so the poem.